Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Dragon Age Inquisition. We are now doing a Codex episode, so just letting you know, I think it's episode 4? Yeah, anyway, last episode, and kind of the episode before, we got a new character codex for Cole. His name is Cole. He's not that old, perhaps 20 years, no more. He has blonde hair that hangs in front of his eyes. He wears dirty leathers, perhaps the only clothes he owns. He was there when he found Reese in the Templar crypt. But you couldn't see him. Nobody can. And those who do forget him, just like you are right now. Remember the dream. A letter allegedly written by former Knight Captain Evangeline de Bressard, found in the spire in the aftermath of the Mage Uprising. Oh. Yeah, I think it's the only new character codex we got. Anyway, moving on to creatures. Who do we have? I didn't read. Envy. Envy demons are equal parts arrogance and cowardice. They isolate their victims to study them at length, seeking to become them. Once the demon is satisfied, it knows its chosen subject, who takes on their form, leaving the poor soul to rot. Envy is never satisfied, however. The demon's bottomless cravings to be more and more powerful, more skilled, more inspired, cause it to seek fresh prey, leaving a trail of stolen identities behind. This transition is when envy is weakest, for it is vulnerable as it moves from body to body, slavishly copying the habits of the old identity until it finds another mortal to mimic. This is why I am writing this down. The man cowering before me wanted so badly to know what a demon thinks, wants, feels. He would document everything. He resists. A prisoner in his own home, but I already know this. I hunger for the knowledge as he does, as I will. Skull found in the body of a scholar, Esmar Treviento, like the Templars who hunted him down. Wow. Okay. Alright, what do we got here? Horror! Presley. Whatever you do, don't get too close to those red Templars with the giant humps on their backs. They can spit lyrium. You can actually see it growing before they fling it at you from their palms. One hit Henley in the face. He'd have a massive scars if I hadn't been there to heal the wounds as we plucked this stuff out. We started to beat it down with some spells, and then the air went sour. I felt sick, like you do when you're around too much raw lyrium. Lyra almost passed out. I grabbed her and ran. With luck, the things found better prey than us. Never loved the Templars, but seeing them mutilated with lyrium doesn't give me any cheer. I don't understand why they've inflicted this on themselves. Jamie. Go down. Wow. The Templar archers. I got damage to our Templars increased. Yeah. Take aim. Red lyrium isn't the weakest stuff. They fed you all your life. Climbs deeper. It's got a will of its own. Tame it, and it will do things the Chancery's destructors never dreamed of. Listen, focus on the arrow in your hand. Pour power into it when it leaves the bow. That strength can fly across the battlefield and punch a hole through the thickest armor. Soon you won't need to stop to hear it. Practice, and the song will always be in your blood and fire. Red Templar archer is striking new recruits starting to take over. Ooh. Red Templar foot soldier, huh? Okay, damage against Red Templars increased. Do you remember when I was tracking some mages hiding in the mountains? I found those Red Templar heretics attacking them. The Templars turned on me as well. The soldiers looked like normal men and women, but they rained down blows so hard it numbed my arm to my shield. It took me 3 minutes to kill just one, and he only stopped when I cut off his head. That's when I saw their leader, a huge, misshapen knight. He made a gesture, and a streak of light streamed from him into one of the soldiers. Red lyrium burst through the soldier's back. He changed into some kind of thing that made all the mages sick. I still don't know how we survived. These mages are children and frightened scholars, hiding from the war after their circles fell. Still, if one of them wasn't a hero, I'd have lost my sword arm. Letter from a Templar knight who left the order to her husband. Wow. Alright, what do we got over here? Red Templars. The Red Templars are exactly what they sound like. They are Templars who have been fed red lyrium, and the results are precisely what happened to Meredith and Kirkville. It improves their powers, grants new ones, and increases their strength beyond what a human body should bear. Over time, red lyrium will turn them into beasts. Crystals will grow inside their bodies, even, I am told, spreading from their heads. In the end, the Red Templars will be lost, mind and soul to roaring madness. Did the Chantry push our Templars too far, or was this break inevitable? Maker help us, I pray it was not us who drove our good knights into becoming monsters. Mother Clarice? Celeres? Of the Grand Cathedral in a letter to a friend. Oh my god. That's a mouthful. Oh, that was pieces. Histra. Only fools ignore the history of the ground they walk and the people they meet. Sucks because if I accidentally scroll down onto one of them, and I don't know if I've read it or not, it doesn't exactly let me know. Pretty sure I read that. Well, there was something in here that I hadn't read, and now I won't ever know. What the hell? Ah, it's right here. Champions of the just. Blessed are they who stand before the corrupt and the wicked and do not falter. Blessed are the peacekeepers, the champions of the just. Blessed are the righteous, the lights in the shadow, and their blood to make us will is written. Canticle of benedictions, 4:10. When Andraste preached these verses, she offered her followers a path of virtue, and their blood to make his will is written. It is usually interpreted to mean sacrificing one's life for a righteous cause, but like most of the chant, deeper meaning hides beneath the surface. In their blood can be understood as a reference to continuity, an unbroken line of humble behavior required to please the Maker, rather than a physical fight against a demon or an apostate. Andraste meant this verse as a warning that her faithful should judge their hearts and intentions, questioning those who would lead them astray. Champions of the just are those with the courage to admit their wrongdoing while letting none continue in their sight. Unsurprisingly, the fourth stanza is popular among militant breaches of the chantry, such as the Knight Enchanter and the Templar Order. Notes on the Chant of Light by Mother Bazoria of the Grand Cathedral, 939 Dragon. Right on. Yeah, you're on to magic then. It looks like number 5. Oculara, a skull set upon a staff. These macabre macabre artifacts cause magical shards in the area to glow with magical radiance when the viewer looks through the eyes of the skull. Oh. Alright, number 15. Oh, I said 15. And 19. The Lost Art of Balefire. Though it is an elven magic, let's admit that balefire is worthy of consideration, for they perfected it at the height of their civilization. Certainly mages often use it as a source of light, for its flame burns without wood or oil. It can also activate dormant spells, which has its uses. Balefire's true potential, however, is as a medium for writing. Balefire runes convey more than the literal meaning of their text. Balefire can transfer a tangible impression of sights, sounds, and even emotions to the reader. With the diligent practice, any mage can learn this astonishing technique, but compared to the ancient elves' examples, current works are crude. I hope this book will guide those who, like myself, would rekindle an interest in this delicate art. Together, let us rediscover subtleties lost to the ages. For Balefire, a beginner's primer with numerous teachings, exercises, and applications by Magister Pendictus. Right. Vitar. After an extensive study of the Canary specimens kindly provided, I've come to the conclusion that the painted markings on their face and body are not in fact solely for ceremonial purpose, but provide a practical benefit. While I'm certain there is some cultural significance to the patterns and colors they choose, but the Canary do nothing without purpose, yes? They call these markings Vitar, which in their tongue means poison armor. It's called this because these markings are magical in nature and actually harden their skin to an iron-like quality without hindering flexibility. My analysis says that the paint consists largely of poison. It is mixed with something else, blood perhaps their own, and that neutralizes the poison, but only for one with the Canary physiology. Anyone else would perish almost instantly, which reminds me, I'll kindly require another body slave. The process, wow, that's kind of rude. The process activates the magical qualities of the poison, which provides the protective effects almost in the same manner that Lyrian runes do. However, how this works and whether it can be used for our own purposes will require further study. Perhaps some live specimens this time. From a letter written by Nemura Origanus, apprentice to Magister Varus in Dragon 932. Places. Okay. The Frostbacks. Deep roads. There isn't a dwarf alive who remembers the deep roads as they once were. They were the network of tunnels that joined the tides together. To be honest, it isn't even right to give them such a simple term as tunnels. They are works of art, with centuries of planning demonstrated in the geometry of their walls, with the statue of the Paragons that watch over the travelers. It's the flow of lava that keeps the deep roads lit and warm. The cloud gazers up on the surface talk of the imperial highway built by the magistrates of old, a raised walkway that crossed thousands of miles, something that could only have been built by magic. Perhaps it is comparable to that of the deep roads, although the dwarves didn't need magic. Damn it. I suppose it doesn't matter anymore. The Darkspawn moved deep roads now. Wentworthmore sealed off the entrances to the deep roads, abandoning everything that lay out there, and handed over the kingdom that was to those black bastards forever. To think that there are now Genlocks crawling over Boundamon now, tearing down our statues and defiling our greatest works. Corruption covers everything we built there. Every dwarf who goes out and comes back says it gets worse with each passing year. The foulness spread a little further. The cloud gazers think that the darkspawn are gone just because they aren't spilling out onto the surface? Huh. One day when Orzammar is gone for good, they'll find out differently. Those darkspawn won't have anywhere else to go but up. They'll do it. The surface folk will have themselves a blight that will never end. Transcript of a conversation with a member of the Dwarven Mining Cast, 890 Blessed. 12. Froden after the blight. If one need only stroll through Denerim Archet to appreciate Froden's resilience, it would be hard-pressed to believe that darkspawn ravaged the city within our lifetime. Scars remain for the people who lived through it, but life moves forward. Now children play in the streets. Children for whom the blight is a story their parents would tell. I once heard a small boy ask what a darkspawn was to him. It was only a word he heard from the elder youths. We teach that a learned child is a blessing upon his parents and unto the Maker. Andraste, forgive me, but I felt joy at his smiling ignorance. King Alistair and his wife made such a scene possible. Some say the Queen's absence weighs on our King's mind. Even so, his actions are a puzzle to me. Oh no, where am I at? Where's my character? My Queen? Where's the Queen? Despite the events of Kirkwall, Froden continues to offer refuge to the rebel mages, which will only bring more trouble to our doorsteps. It already has. Rumors among the merchants suggest that Starkhaven places sanctions on trade as a sign of protest. One hears of conflict in the hinterlands between Templars and mages. Mother Diana says I am to accompany her to the conclave in Haven. She says to have faith in the divine Justinia and that, whatever comes, we shall see what the Maker's will done. I think on those smiling children who have not grown up with death and fear, and I pray it is so. Letter from Sister Kira of the Denerim Chantry to her sister in the Free Marches. Right on! Alright, number 19. Navarra. The fourth time I attempted to cross the border into Navarra from Orlais and was turned back by chevaliers, I decided to take the more roundabout path, a ship, back to Ferelden and then another to Navarra. The outcome was more than worth the trouble. The whole country is filled with artistry. From the statues of heroes that litter the streets, even the meanest villages, to the glittering golden college of Magi in Cumberland. Perhaps nowhere is more astonishing than the vast necropolis outside Navarra city. Unlike most other followers of Andraste, the Navarrans do not burn their dead. Instead, they carefully persevere their bodies and seal them in elaborate tombs. Some of the wealthiest Navarrans begin construction of their own tombs while quite young, and these become incredible palaces, complete with gardens, bathhouses, and ballrooms, utterly silent, kept only for the dead. Oh my god, that's kind of weird and creepy. From In Pursuit of Knowledge, The Travels of a Chantry Scholar by Brother TV. That dude's been everywhere. Saharon, the goal is fear. The Canari and Saharon's rockets must fear that everyone who serves their food is a rebel looking for a chance to slip poison onto a Canari's plate. The rebels must fear that every farmer they pass in the fields is a Ben-Half spy ready to bring soldiers running. And the commoners, the peasants, they must fear everyone. They see rebels light fires that kill Cunari and commoner alike. They see the Ben-Half's wrath arrest commoners who all know are innocent. When these events do not occur naturally, it is our duty to catalyze the process. Only when the commoners of Saharon fear the rebels and hate the Canari will the Imperium be seen as the preferable option. The actions we take here may seem cruel, but to succeed we must agitate until all of Saharon hates both the rebels and the Canari for their actions. Only when the people are broken can we save them. Only when they fear all others will they accept the aid of the Imperium. Any good soldier would kill 10 men to save 20. We must bring back terror to Saharon so that we might one day bring peace. An excerpt from the training manual given to Dementor operatives joining the Sicarii, whose existence has been officially denied. Well, anything else I have to read? Alright, number 31. The Fallow-Mire. I spent the last week in the Fallow-Mire. The bog stretches forever, and it's slow riding at night when the mists get thick. You can still travel along the old roads, and there's still enough good hunting to make the trip worthwhile. Fish, birds, and even a few hearts. Oh, I don't kill the hearts. There's one thing to look out for, though. When anything dies in the water, the mire preserves it. I was stalking a magnificent buck when a corpse clawed out of the water at me. I'm not afraid to say I ran. No rack of antlers is worth fighting a demon. My cousins and Fisher's aunt thought it was funny. He says he had to look out for an undead every time he goes outside the village. I don't know how he stands it. Diary of the Hunter from Denerim. Wow. Resources found here. Blood Lotus, Dawn Lotus, Summerstone, and Blue Victory. Well. The Hinterlands. My lord, all Tegan. Tegan! I retired to the Hinterlands for peace and quiet away from the politics and because the wide open spaces were perfect to let my horses run. Instead, the war between the mages and the Templars has turned your beautiful hills into a series of burning battlefields. The farmers who live in the Hinterlands are good folk. Many of them left Redcliffe Village because they couldn't bear to be there anymore. Not after the Blight and the Walking Dead left so many bad memories. Now we've got apostates running around setting fire to anyone who looks at them sideways, and Templars shooting out, looting houses and cutting down those who protest as mage sympathizers. My wife Elena sent off our field hands to stay with her family in the east. But there are a lot more poor people here with nowhere to go. We get more refugees every day. This village attacked by mad mages, or that farmstead burned to the ground by Templars who can't tell a hoe from a staff. I suppose you're stretched thin, but anything you can do to lessen the burden of these poor folk would be much appreciated. I'll do as I can, and if your mending better now, say the word. Best of luck to you, my lord. Remember not to let the Duchess puff out of her gut when you saddle her. The Duchess puff out her gut when you saddle her this morning. Years in service, Dennet. Ah, Dennet. A letter from Redcliffe's former horsemaster to Earl Tegan of Redcliffe, undelivered. Oh, it was undelivered. Oh. The Storm Coast. I obviously did not read this, so I'm going to read it. Cannot say whether the Storm Coast receives more inclement weather than any other stretch of northern Ferelden coastline. That hasn't stopped the region from boasting more than its fair share of tragic tales. If all are to be believed, rich merchant ships blink at the decks due to the follies of their proud captains. The infamous and likely fictional pirate Daniel of Sal gave up the sea to become a Grey Warden while standing on the shores, and countless young women pined for the dreams lost to the waves. I witnessed nothing so fanciful on my brief sojourn to the coast. However, the area is sparsely populated, and as I watched the waking sea strike at the shore, I could see why such tales are born. For in pursuit of knowledge, the travels of a changeless scholar by Brother Genetivi. Spinnowweed, Blood Lotus, Blackwood, Serpent Stone, and Samsung. The Summer Bazaar. We rededicate this jewel of Valroyo as the Summer Bazaar as the first line to reflect the spirit of renewal that is at the heart of the capital and of our people. Let the strength of the four always guard the grace of the empire. Let the blossoms and the promise of changing seasons be a tribute to trade and public gathering, for here, in the name of the Lion Valmont, we will be an example to the world of how Elysians respond to adversity. Our way cannot be threatened, for it embodies the truth of tradition and the promise of progress. The Blight finds no purchase in the hearts of commerce. Plaque dedicating the Summer Bazaar for victories earned and to come, placed in 530 Exalted. I bet I didn't read about Valmont. Fear and fall of doubt. I have heard complaints. Some of you do not understand why we train at a castle in the wilderness when you're to seek out corruption among the masses. You question the seeker's foresight. Doubt assails you. Why have you come to Therenfall? What can you learn here you could not anywhere learn? Patience is what you will learn. With no city to distract you or tempt you, you will practice. You will fail, you will suffer, and when we are done, you will be a rock upon which demons break. Now let us begin. This transcription of a speech by Lord Seeker Alderai to a batch of students beginning advanced lessons dated 770 Storm. The Seekers use Therenfall Redoubt as a training ground until around 899 Blessed, when their finances were insufficient to keep the fortress in desirable condition. From notable fortress castles, towers, and other edifices of interest in Ferelden by Henry Lynn. Valroyo, any resident of Royan, will say is the greatest city in the world. Many take such pride for arrogance, but they do so through smiles as they nod in agreement, for such is the cost of doing business in the capital. Valroyo is every way a world leader in commerce, culture, and its own exaggerated beauty. The site was founded during Evrian's grand unification, the result of a mix of influence, not so much balanced as driven together. And while such an amalgamation would be cause for chaos elsewhere, the prosperity of the region has enabled an upward spiral of indulgence. The capital has endured the ages to become a beacon of civilization, and its citizens' measure of modernity. What? Just ask them. An element of Valroyo is notoriously risque, and it exists harmoniously beside the aristocracy and the palace bureaucrats. Indeed, the aristocracy tends to indulge in the city's darker side quite frequently, if discreetly, and that only adds to the mystique. Nobility elsewhere tend to be much more conservative and concerned about their reputation, even if a trip into the capital to indulge a few private pleasures is not completely out of the question. In Valroyo, transgressions are suffered and forgiven with flamboyant urgency. That is not to say the city is without lasting scandal or hardship, but one must squint past the gilding to be allowed even a glimpse, as Royans are very careful about the face they present. Such it is with the masks of nobility in the underbelly of their streets. Excerpted from Valerie Alexis's Grimm, otherwise by former sister Laudine. Well, tales, stories, and songs, the windows into the mind of the windows. Empress of Fire. Did I read this? Oh well, it's not that long. Maybe it is. Empress of Fire in the Reign of Lion, eclipse in the eye of the Empire of the Legions. Empress of Fire, what season may come, we fight for the day. We will restore our heart and bring us to glory. We are forever in your graces. Empress of Fire, save us, everyone. The nation reviles. The course is run. The course is but run, and end has begun. Empress of Fire, believe in us all, embrace us with arms and dress us with swords. And light our hearts with blood so bold. We are forever in your graces. Empress of Fire, in the reign of the Lion, eclipsing the eye of the Empire of the Legions. Empress of Fire, what season may come, we fight for the day, will restore our heart and bring us to glory. Martin Halewell. She has all the songs. Enchanters. Enchanters, the time has come to be alive with the circle of Magi. Where will we thrive with our brothers? Enchanters remind that the time will not unwind. The dragon's crooked spine will never straighten into line. Our plea will be a faithful end decree where man will not retreat from the defeat of his fathers. Enchanters, the time has come for battle lines. We will cut these knotted ties. And some may live and some may die. Enchanter, come to me. Enchanter, come to me. Enchanter, come to see. Can you come to see? As you were once blind in the light, now can you see? And our strength we will rely on, history will not repeat. Maker. Maker, have you left me here? Temple, sacred ashes, tragic mark upon our land. Skyfall, let darkness rain on me. Now flee from the dragon's heart. Roaring battle-scarred eyes, reach into the fade is come. Demon, please spare my life and our souls. We were. Once we were. Oh man, these are a lot of songs. Once we were in our peace, with our lives assured. Once we were not afraid of the dark. Once we sat in our kingdom with hope and pride. Once we ran through the fields with great strides. We held the fade and the demon's flight so far from our children and from our lives. We held together the fragile sky to keep our way of life. Once we raised up our chalice in victory. Once we sat in the light of our dreams. Once we were in our homeland with strength and might. Once we were not afraid of the night. Rise. Find me, still searching for someone to lead me. Can you guide me to the revolt inside me? Promise surviving in breach. Promise surviving in breach in the sky. Templar igniting fire inside me. Maker of mine. Gone are the days of our peace. Now we reside in the great divide. We promise surviving in breach in the sky. Oh my goodness. Number 10. Sarah was never. Yeah! Sarah was never an agreeable girl. Her tongue tells tales of rebellion, but she was so fast and quick with her bow, no one quite knew where she came from. Sarah was never quite the quietest girl. Her attacks are loud and they're joyful, but she knew the ways of nobler men, and she knew how to enrage them. She would always like to say, why change the past when you could only say? Today she will fight to keep her lonely. She's a roving thief, and she'll tempt your fate. Sarah was never quite the wealthiest girl. Some say she lives in a tavern. She was so sharp and quick with her bow, arrows strike like a dragon. Sarah was not quite the gentlest girl. Her eyes were sharp like a razor, but she knew the ways of commoner men, and she knew just how to use them. Boom. 28 Consolations of Queens. A dragon. Dragon in flight. Sea creature. I don't know if I've read that one. See, it sucks, because if I scroll down, I've read for video, apparently. I don't know which ones I read and which ones I haven't, so that happened. Majestic Bastards, I didn't read this. I remember the second last one. I wouldn't get closer than 60 feet, double the wingspan, but that left you time to move. The beast was too weak to do much, still seemed respectful to keep the distance and leave its end to an animal and trainer. She strayed out, not the way they should go, not the way I was used to seeing them. Oh, they were majestic bastards, they knew it. Ask any warden dumped arse over ears for not picking nuts. See, trainer and beast had a kinship, and both knew what they wanted. For Griffin, that bond meant human. Couldn't fault them. They needed what they needed. I mean, what's fair trade for saddling a warden commander? Full plate, lightning storm, sheer dive, straight through an archdemon's wing? Legendary, you can't argue. But back on the ground, they knew they were owed. And you couldn't shortcut and douse them. They had all the majesty of a paddling rat if you waterlogged the feathers. No, it was a grueling task of pruning 30 bloody feet of wood. And you better remember, maybe the thing got pissy next flight, cut an oak too close, give you a love tap so hard your neck sound dented. Still, everything in balance, every talent ticked. There was nothing that compared. You reached down from the sky and put Davis in the hand. Anyway, Yes, I remember the second last one. After she dropped the ropes, took some crosscuts, because they do things like that, and then we burned it, and then I got drunk. I do not remember the very last. You can't make me. Comments of an unnamed Grey Warden excerpted from Weishaupt's records on the extinction of a treasured species, liberated for public consideration by Philium, a bard. What are these? 106? Perils of Bard Life. As a bard, you are welcome anywhere in Orlais. Doors are open to you with generous smiles, their wearer is confident that no one would falsely pretend to select a title for fear of retribution. Your slightest request is immediately seen to you. Your services are expensive and yet actively sought, and those who cannot afford them beg only to not have your displeasure turned their way. One day, however, you will awaken. You will realize that the smiles are false, and behind them lies revenge. At the first moment of weakness, your brother and sister bards will be unleashed upon you like a pack of hounds, and you realize that they are not your brothers and sisters at all. For all your fancy intrigue, you have spent your life creating nothing of worth. You have been swallowed by the web of your own deceits, and the game in which you believed yourself master, it moves on without you, uncaring. Little letter signed Sister Nightingale. Oh no, that's how Liliana feels about the bard life, huh? Well, holy crap. We're done with all the tutorials then. Well, I'm not reading the tutorials, you guys know how to. You guys know how. I'm reading, I read them, okay? Don't give me crap. Game. Alright, there, we're done. Alright, that's going to be it for this episode of the Codex reading. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one where, again, we are going to either talk with companions, but if they have nothing to say, we're going to deal with the breach. So, thank you for watching. Bye!